So this next example has to do with finding zeros, and in the other video I talked about how zeros are the same as solutions or x-intercepts. It has this, whenever we solved, whenever we had equals 0, and we solved and we got x equals something, that's what we're talking about when it talks about finding zeros. That means the same thing as solutions, okay? So let's write that up there. So that's, well, I know you're not going to see it very well, but solutions. Okay, that's the same meaning, okay? So, 1, 0 of f of x equals x cubed plus 4x squared minus 15x minus 18 is x equals negative 1, okay? So that means that it crosses at negative 1. That also means that the factor, okay, remember on our videos, the factor is the opposite of that. So it's x plus 1. So if you want to use synthetic division and relate it to the factor, which is what we were doing on the other page, then remember the solutions and the factors are opposites as long as they're whole numbers. So it says find the other zeros. Well, what we have to do is we have to start with our whole idea of factoring. Then we'll be able to take that one step further and find the zeros where we set them equal to 0 and we solve like we've been doing in class, okay? So x plus 1 is the factor. I really wouldn't worry about this right here. Oh, actually, it's exactly what I just wrote right here. Because this is equal to 0, and we haven't really talked about what that means, so don't worry about that. So you don't really need this part, but we do want to say x plus 1 is a factor. Okay, so it's the same thing I wrote right there. So we use synthetic division to find the other factors. We set it up, we do our process, and then we'll factor to answer the question about zeros. So we're just building on what we know, synthetic division, to factoring, to solving. And so we already know all three of those, but now we're going to put them all together. Okay? So I'm going to scroll down so that we can do all of this together. All right. So let's go through and let's put in the numbers. So the numbers were, let me find a good marker. Okay. So the numbers were, okay, since the factor was x plus 1, that means that the number we put in here is a negative 1, or the solution, because they told us the solution was negative 1. Okay, then they already put the coefficients in here for us. There was nothing missing, so we could just go in order. We didn't have to worry about zeros. So remember, we bring down, and then we multiply. Okay, then we add those up, and then we multiply. Then we add those up, and then we multiply. And remember, if we're factoring, we really want a 0 in that last corner, okay? We need the remainder to be that 0, which is exactly what we have. So, building on the other examples, we now know that that's the remainder. So this is the constant, that's the x, and that's the x squared. So constant, x, and x squared. So so far our factors are, let me go back to that blue, x plus 1, and now it's x squared plus 3x minus 18. So now we just go off, this we already know. So now we just want to factor that one more time, and that's a basic trinomial. So two numbers that multiply to negative 18 and add to 3. Okay, that is 6 and 3, and the 3 will be the negative, okay? So when you subtract it, that'll be the negative. Hold on, that's an
Attention
announcement.
students and teachers.